Put away those Amex and MasterCards. There's a brand new exclusive card just for those Galaxy of Heroes players, the Visas card. And if you want to use this card in the Heroic Sith raid, it can be yours just for the very low and totally affordable cost of $300. But is this price worth it? Let's get into it and find out. So, looking at Visas Marr, when she was first revealed, everybody thought she was going to be a strong anti-Sith raid character, and that's because you look at her and she's even marketed as an anti-Sith kind of character, offensive healer with strong anti-Sith synergy, and of course this all goes down to things like her basic attack, where she deals physical damage to the target, dispels all debuffs on Visas and another random debuffed ally. If the target is Sith, she and the lowest health ally also recover 25% max health, and if any debuffs were dispelled, she reduces the cooldown of her dark healing by 1, and of course this is her big healing ability. She steals health from the opposing team, she heals everyone on her team for 35% of her max health, and then if she is at full health after this, a random ally is revived with 50% health. So you already have two anti-Sith abilities here going on. She does a lot of damage with her basic attack, she cleanses if the target is Sith, and then you get to her piercing strike, and this is where people really thought she was going to be a very strong raid character, because this gives defense penetration up to your entire team, and this is one of the ways to get through the massive amounts of defense that Darth Sion has in phases 2 and 4. So, you really get to ignore that bonus defense he has with this. You don't really have to Omega this for the raid because there's really no protection to ignore in the first place outside of Darth Sion. And then finally you have her unique, and I Zeted this because I want to see what she can do in the raid. I thought she was going to be a very good raid character. Whenever she has no debuff, she has a 100% counter chance and a 60% chance to assist when another ally attacks a Sith enemy once per turn. It used to be she could attack multiple times per turn, but they fixed that and they nerfed her, and now she attacks once per turn. So the Zeta, she gets the chance to assist with the Zeta. So getting that Zeta is really something you want to look at if you're going to be using her in the raid. I tested her with the Zeta to see what she could be like, and for her mods, I have her with health and crit chance here. She has about 42-43% crit chance after the mods here. And her health, I'm kind of bumping up her health because she's only gear 10 right now. She's going to gain another 20,000 bonus health with the Sith raid and the bonus to healers. So she's going to have a pretty good health pool. She's going to be able to really heal herself up and heal others on her team as well, because her max health is going to be in the 40,000 range. So that's a look at her kit and how I have her modded. Let's go ahead and start talking about what's good with her, and then we'll also discuss what's not so good with her in the Sith raid. And to start out with where she's good at, I've tried her in phase 3, I tried her with Night Sisters there, and she has some pretty good healing abilities to really help boost your Night Sisters. She can do an assist attack, she can help cleanse debuffs, so if those debuffs with the lightsabers, with their buffs where they give daze and stagger and ability block, she can help cleanse those really easily with her assist attacks. She is going to be able to help with that defense penetration that's going to help you deal some bonus damage, especially when Darth Traya is toppled after defeating her lightsabers. So she has some synergy there. And then finally, if someone gets isolated, she cannot revive them even once they're defeated. The isolated characters can't be defeated or can't be revived once they're defeated. However, if you have someone like Old Daka who gets isolated and you don't have Talia to use in the raid, you could try Visas Marr here. That gives you a second healer on your team. That's another healer. So if one of those two healers gets isolated, you then still have a healer who can heal the rest of the team up, which is going to be helpful with the AoE attacks and the bonus attacks and the damage from Bonds of Weakness. So she fits in pretty well into phase 3. She helps to cleanse all those debuffs from the lightsabers. She's really useful with that. She can help deal some bonus damage against Darth Traya, especially during topple attacks. All this really combines together to really help heal up your team, and that's something very important in phase 3, because Darth Traya really throws out a lot of damage in a very short amount of time, in a very short window, because of the 3 lightsabers and because her attacks deal AoE damage on their own, plus not to mention the Saber Storm ability that can do a lot of damage in one hit. So a lot of healing abilities that Visas Marr helps bring to the table to help prolong the ability for your teams to survive in phase 3. Now, you guys have probably seen the Chex Mix video by now, and with Chex Mix, I don't recommend using her here in a Chex Mix team because she is a healer-based class, she's not an attacker, so she won't give bonus damage to the character that's standing alone, which should be Han Solo. So You don't really want to use her in a Chex Mix team, but if you want to try another Phase 3 team here, you could throw her in there as part of your lineup to help, like I said, with the bonus healing and to really help keep your team alive. However, if you're looking for a place where Visas really shines in this raid, look no further than Phase 1 of the raid against Darth Nihilus. And in case you guys don't know, there is some connection between Visas and Nihilus from the lore. So I kind of like to think that whenever they come together and they start fighting each other, once Nihilus is done asking for your flash drive, he and Visas start talking. They just kind of catch up, saying, hey, how's it going? Long time no see. And, Visas asks him, hey, what are you up to these days? And Nihilus responds with, I ignore protection and I apply defense down. At which point Visas kind of looks at him and says, oh, really? That's cute. And this is because her kit is a direct counter to the mechanics for Darth Nihilus in Phase 1. And what's going on here is Darth Nihilus, whenever someone uses a basic attack against him, he inflicts defense down on them, and then once they have that debuff, they then regenerate protection on Darth Nihilus. Of course, his attacks all ignore protection as well. They do direct health attacks. So everything that goes on here, like we've covered in Visas Marr's kit, it counters it, because on her assist chance, when she assists, she will not only cleanse the defense down from the ally who attacks, she will then also cleanse the defense down that is applied to herself from using that assist attack. And once this happens, you start getting a drastic reduction in the cooldown for the Dark Healing ability. And on Heroic, you're going to lose some characters. You're gonna have problems where Nihilus is going to do some massive hits to your team, gonna kill someone, at which point she can then use her Dark Healing ability and revive that character. And like I said before, it's on a very short cooldown because she is constantly cleansing the defense down from the assists as long as they're not getting resisted. So with that, with the constant healing, she is a great character to counter the mechanics of Darth Nihilus here with those basic attacks, and this also opens the road for some other teams to be possibly used in here. People have been asking me for a Rebel Officer Leia Organa led team or a Grandmaster Yoda led Jedi team using in Phase 1 against Darth Nihilus. And in my opinion, I think Visas is the key to making those teams work because, they have the defense down, but if you can get something to help constantly cleanse it, like Visas with her assist to help cleanse the defense down, you don't have to worry about the constant protection regeneration against Darth Nihilus. So in my opinion, using Visas in one of those teams could really help make them viable. Something I'm still going to work on. Be patient with me. I'm trying to get it figured out. I need to get some more gear on some characters before I can test those on my own. And we'll see just how viable those teams are. Now, one other thing to note here is her unique ability is currently bugged in some ways. I've noticed while I'm fighting Darth Nihilus that sometimes, even with no debuffs on her, she is not guaranteed to counter. I don't know what's going on here. It seems that it's constant between fights. So for one whole fight, she won't counter at all. I can restart the fight and go again, and she will then counter all the time. So there seems to be a bug with her consistency. I think this started up about the time that we had the problem with Darth Sion and his Zeta not working. So if anybody's out there from CG, if anybody can forward this to CG, get their attention on this. She is not working as intended currently with her Zeta ability. Please get this fixed because this is a Zeta ability. It's very important because Zetas are not easy to come by. So a Zeta ability like this that's bugged would be great to get fixed. Now, one other thing beyond that, if you have the Protector buff that ever gets on Visas Marr in Phase 1, I highly recommend you use it because what happens is one of the most entertaining things you will ever see in this game.
Surprise, motherfucker!
So what you just saw there was Nihilus used the Annihilate on Visas Marr, then hit her 2 more times, and basically what happened is she did a triple counter that not only healed her back up to 75% health, but also helped heal up other members on the team as well. So getting that Protector buff on her in Phase 1, giving her, you don't even need the Zeta for it because she has the 100% counter chance. Without the Zeta, you can still get those triple tap counters from her against Darth Nihilus. Really heals her back up, makes her a lot more manageable once she's done with that Protector buff. So it's a great character to use here just for the entertainment purposes of watching something like that happen. So that's it for Phase 1. We've covered what she's really good at and what she really shines at in the raid. Let's get into the ugly of what's wrong with her and what's not good for her in this raid. And with what's not really good for her, unfortunately, Phases 2 and 4 are really, really bad times for her. And it's because, again, of her unique, where as long as she does not have debuffs, she has a 100% counter chance and that 60% assist chance. And what goes wrong here is cycles of pain and suffering from Darth Sion are debuffs. You know what that means. She is pretty much almost always going to not be able to counter and assist with her unique. So if you're going to use her in the raid, stay far, far away from any fight that has Darth Sion involved. You can use her in the final third of Phase 4 against Darth Traya, but you do not want to use her against Darth Sion at any point because she basically runs at half effectiveness. She does not have the full efficiency and the full effectiveness of what you'd want from a raid character. And this is unfortunate because, again, she has that ability on her third special that allows her to give your team the defense penetration. And this was made for something like Darth Sion with his 100% bonus defense, but unfortunately because of the cycles of suffering and pain that he applies to the team, you're just not going to be able to get your full effectiveness of Visas Marr in the heroic raid or even any normal raid against Darth Sion. So there's really no footage to show here, but basically envision using her against Darth Sion as something like this.
Please disperse! Nothing to see here!
So don't use her in Phase 2 or Phase 4. Anytime that you have to fight against Darth Sion in the raid, just stay far, far away from using her there. Because again, she's just not going to be that effective and she's a waste of space for your team. So we've covered what's good, we've covered what's bad about her. Let's get into the final verdict. In my opinion, I would not say Visas Marr is currently a character you want to throw $300 at to use in the raid. You can only use her in 2 phases. You also need the Zeta on her to make her be good in those phases. So it's a heavy investment. It's not a game-changing character like we thought would be in the raid. So there's really no huge incentive to use her in here. There are some comparisons with her and Zeta Barris. I would still go with Zeta Barris because Zeta Barris is very good in other game modes. And for Visas Marr, she's not very good in PvP. She doesn't really have a use in territory battles. So if you're going for a Zeta Barris or a Zeta Visas Marr, I would go for Zeta Barris if you're considering the whole game. If you're just going for the Sith raid, I would go for Visas Marr. But again, like I said, she's only effective in half the raid right now. So it's a very hard investment to swallow for a lot of people, especially with a hefty price tag of $300. So in my opinion, I would skip going on Visas raid for now. Wait for her to become free to play, then start playing around with her. You're going to find some good uses for her in Phases 3 and 4, but because she's not a fully effective character in all phases, it's not a character I would recommend investing in for the Sith raid. And that's about it for this video. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you all have any questions, feel free to ask down below. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And a big thank you to Arnold T101. If you guys don't know what's about to happen, it may already be up by the time you guys watch this video. He and I did a collaboration for the top 10 Zetas in the Sith raid. So definitely go check out his channel. For those of you who came over here to watch this after seeing that video, welcome. Hope you guys stay around and subscribe to this channel. But anyways, to all of my McMinions out there, thanks again for watching. I will talk to you guys later.